Getter poised to quit Britain as ultra-fast delivery boom stalls. Carlos Slim, owner of Claro, meets Lula and promises to invest $40 billion in Brazil in 5 years. Some roads in Wales to revert back to 30 miles per hour, after 500,000 call for 20 miles per hour speed limit to end.
The U.S. now has one fast EV charging station for every 15 gas stations. Tesla cuts U.S. prices by $2,000 as sales slow, inventories swell. Toyota's hydrogen future is crumbling as owners file lawsuits, call for buybacks, and with China's EV sector at top speed, Beijing eyes economical hydrogen power vehicles amid green energy transition.
Argentine province La Rioja sued in NY over missed bond payment. In Argentina, IMF improves inflation projection, 150% this year, but 45% in 2025. Ottawa to force banks to use carbon rebate label for direct deposits.
Pam Grier says she still has injuries 50 years after making Foxy Brown. I didn't have a stunt double. Dick Van Dyke earns historic Daytime Emmy nomination at age 98. Plastic surgeons warn Ozempic face has taken over Hollywood.
Brazil's President Lula creates 2 new indigenous territories, bringing total to 10. U.S. restricts drilling and mining in Alaska wilderness, angering state leaders. U.S. lawmakers Elizabeth Warren and Ro Khanna seek to ban trade in water rights.
It's shocking, rise in UK shopping centre staff wearing stab vests as violence soars. In France, 1,664 beer containing antifreeze, massively recalled in Occitanie and New Aquitaine. Liz Truss accused of using fabricated Rothschild quote in new memoir.
American Idol star Mandisa dies aged 47 as she's remembered for her huge heart and sincerity. Chinese half-marathon champion is disqualified, along with the runners who let him win.
Tesla to recall 3,878 Cybertrucks over faulty accelerator pedal, NHTSA says. GM and Ford count on gas-powered trucks as EV growth slows. Mercedes becomes the first automaker to sell autonomous cars in the U.S. that don't come with a requirement that drivers watch the road.
China orders Apple to remove Meta apps after inflammatory posts about president. Google scraps minimum wage, benefits rules for suppliers and staffing firms. In the U.S., Congress extends controversial warrantless surveillance law for 2 years.
Brexit plans in complete disarray as EU import checks delayed, say businesses. Russia squeezes Middle East, OPEC shares in India's oil market to historic lows, and Russia's war in Ukraine remains barrier to growth, says IMF chief. China outweighs G7 as leading driver of global economic growth.
The first stage of People's Bill passed to give 500,000 illegal migrants official residency status in Spain. Marjorie Taylor Greene demands anti-immigrant space lasers. Carlos Bolsonaro proposes the end of vegetarian menus in Rio schools, claiming it is a leftist agenda.
Dutch government says it may stop using Facebook over privacy concerns. Cops were allowed to force a suspect to use thumbprint to unlock phone, says court.
Jupiter's moon Io has been volcanically active for 4.5 billion years. NASA's Dragonfly rotorcraft mission to Saturn's moon Titan confirmed. India aims to achieve debris-free space missions by 2030. LexisNexis sued over use of personal data to sell subscriptions. Amazon spied on rivals for a decade with a secret operation called Project Curiosity. Windows 10's new feature wants you to create a Microsoft account, ditch local accounts.
Rare black-footed ferrets successfully cloned from frozen tissue samples in the U.S. 2 Chinese giant pandas destined for San Francisco in 2025. Global study finds there really are more insects out after dark. Microsoft's VASA1 can deepfake a person with 1 photo and 1 audio track. Zuckerberg says, Meta's Llama 3 is really good but no chatbot is sophisticated enough to be an existential threat yet. U.S. Air Force stages dogfights with AI-flown fighter jet.
TSMC to charge premium for making chips outside of Taiwan, including its new US fabs, CEO says. The legendary Zilog Z80 CPU is being discontinued after nearly 50 years. Writing the success of the Fallout TV show, Fallout 76 teases a hugely popular newly expanded map in its next update. Sony confirms Little Big Planet 3 shutdown, months after it was temporarily taken offline.
Elon Musk's Grok keeps making up fake news based on ex-users' jokes. Paintball blasting home security camera redefines enter at own risk. Meta says you can't turn off its new AI tool on Facebook, Instagram.
New York Attorney General says $175 million Trump fraud bond isn't properly backed, should be voided. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton can be disciplined for suit to overturn 2020 election, court says. Former January 6 panel chair seeks to strip Secret Service protection from felons.
Trump campaign, RNC pledged to deploy 100,000 attorneys and volunteers to monitor the vote. Trump media tells NASDAQ short sellers may be using potential market manipulation in DJT shares. Boeing hit with 32 whistleblower claims as dead workers case reviewed. VW workers vote to join UAW in historic Southern win for union.
Columbia University protesters resume demonstrations after mass arrests. University of Southern California cancels Director John M. Chu's speech amid valedictorian row over Israel-Gaza war. U.S. vetoes Palestine's request for full UN membership.
Israel has mounted airstrikes on Iran, U.S. confirms, as Tehran plays down attack. CENTCOM says reports of U.S. airstrikes in Iraq aren't true. Man detained in France after bomb threat at Iran consulate. Bitcoin completes its fourth halving. Block rewards now stand at 3.125 BTC. Coinbase postpones Pepe listing on futures. Pepe jumps 9%. Russia sees creating payment platforms as key goal of its BRICS chairmanship, announces Lavrov.
Poland to make defense top priority during 2025 EU presidency. Donald Trump says Ukraine's survival is important to U.S. Norway will rebuild its air defense based on Ukraine's experience. EU and U.S. impose sanctions on extremist settlers over violence in West Bank. Sealift ship for Gaza corridor turns around after engine room fire. U.S. House advances Ukraine and Israel aid. TikTok ban with help from Democrats.
Hagia Finance hit by $44.5 million crypto theft across Arbitrum and Binance networks. Indian man pleads guilty to creating spoofed Coinbase website, stealing $9.5 million in crypto. FTX investors settle with Sam Bankman-Fried to pursue promoters.
Haitian groups seek billions in reparations from France. U.S. agrees to withdraw American troops from Niger. Central African Republic president announces that Russian instructors train over 10,000 troops.
Ocean spray emits more PFAS than industrial polluters, study finds. Warming of Antarctic deep sea waters contribute to sea level rise in North Atlantic, study finds. H5N1 strain of bird flu found in milk from infected cows, WHO says. Lithuania moves to ban TV from Russia, Belarus as long as they pose threat. Polish man charged in connection with alleged Russian plot to kill Ukraine leader Zelensky. Russia ready for Ukraine talks, but not with Zelensky, claims Lavrov.
Blinken says China is Russia's primary military complex supplier. Russian foreign minister derides Switzerland as openly hostile country. Germany arrests men accused of spying on U.S. military sites for Russia in sabotage plot to undermine Ukraine aid. Beloved Australian cartoon Bluey introduces a queer family for the first time. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert sequel in the works with original stars and director Stefan Elliott. Stalker who sent Harry Styles 8,000 cards, is jailed.
Sesame Street writers set new contract, avert strike. The Office, Donald Gleason and White Lotus's Sabrina impacts Sator cast, in new Greg Daniels comedy. Drake uses AI Tupac and Snoop Dogg vocals on tailor-made freestyle, references Taylor Swift's new album The Tortured Poets Department. Crush FTP warns users to patch exploited zero-day immediately. Hackers target Middle East governments with evasive CR14 backdoor. Akira ransomware gang extorts $42 million, now targets Linux servers.
Hong Kong education authorities publish first patriotic materials for English classes at schools. Jimmy Lai, plotted to trigger mainland China's collapse and install US-style democracy, Hong Kong court hears.
Conspiracy theorist sets himself on fire outside Donald Trump hush money trial. Thousands of Bosnian Serbs attend rally denying genocide was committed in Srebrenica in 1995. SETI chief says US has no evidence for alien technology. And we never have. Mystery 99% stock crash in China cement maker linked to margin call. Red Lobster is reportedly heading for bankruptcy after losing millions on endless shrimp. Airbus, Rolls-Royce close to $20 billion Turkish Airlines parts deal.
Google fires 28 employees after sit-in protest over Israel cloud contract. USC bans pro-Palestinian valedictorian from speaking at May commencement, citing safety concerns. Afghan women become YouTubers to bypass Taliban work bans, had to do something to generate income.
Dutch PM offers to buy Patriot systems from allies for Ukraine, and NATO's Stoltenberg asks allies to give air defense systems to Ukraine. Council of Europe unanimously votes to use seized Russian assets to fund Ukraine reconstruction, compensation, and Switzerland won't join G7 task force on Russian oligarch money. Ukraine's HUR confirms attack on Russian bomber factory in Tatarstan. Quentin Tarantino drops The Movie Critic as his final film. Superman never how to play Mark Kent in James Gunn's DC movie. Seth MacFarlane unending Family Guy. I don't see a good reason to stop, people still love it.
Hugh Grant settles privacy case against the Sun publisher. Taylor Swift fans lose £1 million in scams, Lloyds Bank estimates. Statue to Tony Blair honors Tony Blair cult in Kosovo. Seth MacFarlane Foundation teams with Martin Scorsese's Film Foundation to restore its first-ever collection of animated pics. Studio Ghibli to receive owner Ari Palma de Orthkins. For All Mankind renewed for Season 5, Apple expands universe with spin-off series Star City.
Trump demands 5% cut from GOP candidates who use his name, image and likeness in ads. An opinion on Fox News says, Marjorie Taylor Greene is an idiot. She is trying to wreck the GOP. Right-wing Reaker fans flip out after Alan Richson calls Trump a rapist and a con man. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 is releasing in 2024. Sumo Digital reportedly has 3 unannounced games in development. Atari announces Yares Rising reboot from Shantae creator Way Forward.
Scotland to ditch 2030 greenhouse gas reduction target, says BBC report. Apple aims to be carbon neutral by 2030 as 95% of direct manufacturing spend transitions to clean energy. New study calculates climate change's economic bite will hit about $38 trillion a year by 2049.
EU takes legal action over sand eel fishing ban in British waters post-Brexit. Greece becomes first EU country to ban bottom fishing in marine protected areas. Electricity consumption in Switzerland is falling.
Royal Mail owner rejects £4.50 SEB takeover bid from Czech billionaire Daniel Kretinsky. German steelmaker Thyssenkrupp plans production cuts in Duisburg. Tesla asks shareholders to restore $56 billion Elon Musk pay package that was voided by Delaware judge. Tim Hortons says technical errors falsely told people they won $55,000 boat and roll-up to win promo. Giorgia Meloni invited Javier Milei to present on AI as part of the G7. In Brazil, Tarcísio administration will use ChatGPT to produce digital classes instead of teachers.
Nestle adds sugar to infant milk sold in poorer countries, report finds. 1 in 52 Blackpool children in care as poverty soars in north of England. Majority of protein supplements sold in India are mislabeled and contaminated, reveals study.
Toyota Prius under recall because rear doors can fly open. US NHTSA upgrades probe into braking issues in 3M Honda vehicles. In the US, 2024 Mercedes-AMG C63 is a 671 HP PHEV sedan that starts at $85,050. 2024 GMC Sierra EV Denali Edition 1 gets 440 miles of range, higher towing capacity, lower price. Ford reveals 60th anniversary Mustang Special Edition for 2025.
Xi Jinping proposes 4 principles to address Russia-Ukraine war. German Chancellor urges Xi Jinping to press Russia to end Ukraine war, saying China's word carries weight. Kyiv claims over 160 children believed to have been taken to Russia found in Germany.
Vacations, planes, and high-speed trains are off limits if you're in too much debt in China. Boeing whistleblower detailed alleged physical threats from bosses after raising safety concerns. Apple and Google more dangerous than governments, claims Telegram founder.
U.S. Senate ends impeachment of Biden's border chief Mayorkas. Governor DeSantis signs bill requiring teaching of history of communism in Florida schools. NSA, just days from taking over the internet, warns Edward Snowden. Poland's former nationalist government used Israeli-made spyware against hundreds, official report says. Hack on a Texas water system may be the first of its kind by Russian hacking group. Scotland First Minister Yousaf announced, trans women will be protected under misogyny law. Sweden passes law lowering age to change legal gender from 18 to 16. Paris Hilton backs California bill to bring more transparency to youth treatment facilities.
A report claimed, TikTok's efforts to silo U.S. data are largely cosmetic. Billions of public Discord messages may be sold through a scraping service. In the UK, pedophiles could be stripped of parental rights under new law.
AMD unveils new Ryzen Pro 8000 processors for AI PCs. Samsung develops industry's fastest 10.7 Gbps LPDDR5X DRAM, optimized for AI applications. ISPs can charge extra for fast gaming under FCC's internet rules, critics say.
Kamala Harris is almost as popular as Beyoncé, new poll shows. Alabama lawmakers advance bills to ensure Joe Biden is on the state's ballot. Biden says uncle shot down over area populated by cannibals in World War II.
Senator Bob Menendez may blame wife in federal corruption trial, court filing shows. Kari Lake suggests supporters strap on a Glock to be ready for 2024. Giuliani's bankruptcy could cost him his apartment, his jewelry and, perhaps worse, his Joe DiMaggio shirt.
Institute that pioneered AI existential risk research shuts down. Feds appoint AI doomer to run AI safety at U.S. Institute. Boston Dynamics says farewell to its humanoid Atlas robot, then brings it back fully electric.
Destiny animated series reportedly scrapped in Bungie Netflix partnership pre-Sony buyout. Park Chan-wook adapting acclaimed action thriller Oldboy to English language series with Lionsgate Television. Disney Plus possible cable-style Star Wars channel plan proves we're never getting rid of cable.
TikTok to restrict users who repeatedly post problematic topics from For You feed. Twitter blocks dozens of accounts of scientists, journalists and media in Spain. Juntei Porter banned from NBA for gambling on games, giving info to bettors and limiting play for betting purposes.
China's semiconductor output jumps 40% in first quarter amid growing dominance in legacy chips. Micron poised to get over $6 billion in chips grants in announcement next week. Tim Cook promises Indonesia that Apple will consider manufacturing there.
Family accidentally ends up with 50 baby octopuses after their pet, thought to be male, laid dozens of eggs. 600-years-old German church features Taylor Swift music. To attract younger people, it's much easier. $850 Millennium Falcons and $680 Titanics. Grown-ups are now a goldmine for Lego.
911 outages reported in parts of 4 states, including in Las Vegas, officials say. EU activates crisis response corps to fight Russian interference. Cisco warns of global surge in brute force attacks targeting VPN and SSH services.
In the U.S., Supreme Court makes it easier to sue employers for job transfers. Google cuts jobs, shifts some roles abroad as tech layoffs continue amid economic uncertainty. GTA 6 publisher Take-Two to lay off 5% of its workforce and cancel games.
EU demands answers on money for View's version of TikTok. EU data protection body says Meta's pay or OK model is not okay. New research shows how TikTok and YouTube Shorts are bombarding users with misogynist content. EU leaders mull strengthening Lebanon ties in response to Middle East crisis. Putin tells the Middle East to pull back from a catastrophic clash. G7 countries to prevent Iran from purchasing weapons.
Hong Kong's spot Bitcoin ETF set to attract $1 billion in assets, claimed by Bloomberg Analysis, and Hong Kong Bitcoin ETFs likely not available for mainland Chinese investors. Jim Cramer says just go buy Ethereum or Bitcoin instead of Marathon Digital. Let's not fool around. Bybit predicts Bitcoin supply on exchanges will exhaust in 9 months.
BlackRock launches educational series on Bitcoin. Kraken releases own crypto wallet, joining competition with Coinbase, MetaMask. WorldCoin to debut Ethereum Layer 2 World Chain this summer. AIA launches AppsChain Contract Manager solution to support secure private business agreements on public Ethereum. Crypto service providers in Canada must report transfers, customer data by 2027. Brazil's proposal to tax super-rich gains momentum amid G20. Next steps in July, and Senate approves income tax exemption for those earning up to 2 minimum wages. Malaysia to push ahead with long-awaited subsidy cuts in 2024.
In the U.S., Congress passes resolution condemning From the River to the Sea as anti-Semitic. Hamas leader to visit Turkey for talks with Erdogan, as Erdogan invites Hamas chief Haniyeh, accuses Israel in speech. Qatar re-evaluating its role as mediator in Gaza ceasefire talks.
China sounds warning after Philippines and U.S. announced most expansive military drills yet. Joe Biden accuses China of cheating amid call for added steel, aluminum tariffs. Biden calls China xenophobic, ramping up 2024 campaign rhetoric.
Iran President Ebrahim Raisi warns of massive response if Israel launches tiniest invasion. Israel to carry out limited strike within Iran, according to U.S. official. Israel considered striking Iran on April 15 Monday but decided to wait, officials say. Amsterdam banning the construction of new hotels anywhere in the city. Foreign visitors to Japan top 3M in March, single-month record. Singapore's Changi loses world's best airport crown to Qatar.
UK lawmakers back landmark bill to gradually phase out smoking for good. Italy's Turin orders outdoor smokers to keep their distance. Google, Meta to face tax in Canada in 2024 despite US complaints.
Europeans care more about elephants than people, says Botswana president. India ranked world's most populous country with 1.44 billion people, by the UN. Global debt to hit 100% of GDP by 2029, says IMF. Kamchatka's glaciers shrink by 36% since 1950. Dubai airport operations ramp back up as flooding from UAE's heaviest rains ever recorded lingers on roads. For Mount Ruang eruption, Indonesia evacuates thousands, closes airport near volcano.
Russia will never leave Crimea and Donbas, Slovak PM says. Russia begins withdrawing peacekeeping forces from Karabakh, now under full Azerbaijan control. U.S. lawmakers target Chinese military firms helping Russia with bill imposing full blocking sanctions. Russian sandworm group using novel backdoor to target Ukraine and allies. Atlassian Confluence Linux instances targeted with Cerber ransomware. Hackers exploit Fortinet flaw. Deploy Screen Connect. Metasploit in new campaign.
Huawei starts sales of new P70 smartphone to crowds amid chip scrutiny. For iPhone 16 Pro, 4 new camera features coming this year. Google Maps will suggest transit, walking alternatives next to driving routes. Donald Trump complains jury selection moving too fast in hush money trial. Smartmatic and OANN settle 2020 election defamation lawsuit. Poland's president becomes the latest leader to visit Donald Trump as allies eye a possible return. Milei proposes encounter with Lula after mutual insults.
China's autonomous driving players struggle to turn a profit despite heavy investments. Dongfang, Chery-led Chinese carmakers in eyeing Europe factories amid brutal price war at home. Avtostat revises new car sales forecast to 1.5 million in Russia this year. Tom Holland's Twitter account hacked to promote fake crypto. Spider-Man scam. Crypto PAC spent millions to get Alabama candidate on path toward Congress.
Man accused of shooting 5 people over parking spot in Detroit arrested at airport. Researchers find lower grades given to students with surnames that come later in alphabetical order. In Malaysia, court annuls woman's conversion to Islam when she was a minor.
First evidence found of human occupation in lava tube cave in Saudi Arabia. Giant, 82 feet lizardfish discovered on UK beach, could be largest